Well, good morning. It is the 1st of April, and man, is it warm out. 64 degrees to start things off here this morning. Going to 60, what is it going to do today? 67 today. And it will warm up, and then did you see the forecast for Sunday and Monday? Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. We actually could be looking at a few inches of snow is what's really being called for right now. So it's going to be interesting. We'll get into that coming up here for a Friday. Tonight, the Comets are home. They have 3 games this weekend. They're home tonight, on the road tomorrow, and back home for a matinee game on Sunday with Syracuse, which is really, really big because of their third-place standing and a spot in the upcoming playoffs. We are now 18 days away from the New York State primary, and the news is trickling out that Bernie Sanders has made some gains on Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Sanders.
Yeah,
good.
That's what they're calling her now. It's so bad she's become
Bernie Clinton.
A combination of the two. Hillary's numbers, I think the latest poll that is out is showing that she's only about 10 points ahead of Bernie Sanders, which I don't know. The polls before showed her 150 points ahead of him. She was way ahead of him. It was like 70-30. But now it's within reach, says Bernie Sanders, and Hillary is just upset. She feels it's just a giant April Fool's joke. She talked to a Greenpeace activist after a rally in New York on Tuesday and said she was sick of Bernie Sanders lying about her.
I do not. I have money from people who work for fossil fuel companies. I am so sick. I am so sick of the Sanders campaign lying about me. I'm sick of them.
Yeah, you can kind of hear that in the background there. She is so sick, and she repeats, so sick of the Bernie Sanders campaign lying about her.
Was she at a club or something?
I believe they were clubbing.
Maybe?
They were clubbing.
I'm sick and tired of this.
Well, listen, the fact is, how long over and over again can you pound away at somebody, and sooner or later it's going to have an effect. Her numbers are beginning to dwindle in places like New York where nobody thought it would happen, and this is a big one. Zogby was talking about it yesterday. If this thing ends up being close, who knows what this could all mean? Now, Donald Trump is also in the news, and don't look now, but I know Jim Zecca doesn't want to hear this, but the talk now is that maybe Trump has made a few faux pas too many, maybe one too many. The abortion issue, the talk about nuclear proliferation, talk about attacking European countries, who should get nukes and who should not. And then a comment where he feels that Hillary Clinton should be investigated by a Supreme Court justice. Now, I'm not sure and maybe somebody can explain what a Supreme Court justice would end up, how they would investigate Hillary Clinton. Is there any place in our system of government for that to happen?
No.
Really? Almost as if the Supreme Court justice, I'm not sure which one, that justice would be a federal prosecutor of some sort. Crazy statements, and Kasich is out just lambasting him.
Yeah.
Could this be a shakeup? Right now in Wisconsin, Ted Cruz has a double-digit lead, and it is widening since the comments about abortion.
Well, I'm surprised it's taken this long, but right, Trump's campaigns and comments have become just a comedy of errors. And they seem to be adding up now, where in the past he would say something ridiculous, then you might not hear from him for a day or two, and then the topics would change, or he would focus on another issue.
And the numbers would go up. His numbers would go up.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess maybe he's running out of steam now, but right, I know the abortion comment is even if his numbers start to come up in the next week or two, it's going to be an issue. Even if he's the nominee, whether it's Clinton or Sanders.
Well, it'll be a commercial. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a commercial. And comments that you make about, investigating Hillary Clinton, having a Supreme Court justice do the investigation, comments about nuclear attacks and who should get the nukes. And even when he was questioned on it yesterday, his answer was, listen, it doesn't really matter because they're all going to get them anyway, right? I mean, that's not the answer that you want out of your president, I'm afraid. It's like saying, well, we don't care about North Korea because they're going to get it anyway, or they already have it. Who cares? Iran, they're going to get it anyway. I just don't know that that's what he wants to be saying right now. And I don't understand why why he was so tough and was able to slither through every moment. Why now?
Ooh, just your choice of words.
Why-
Slither through.
Why now he's having a difficulty answering these questions? I don't understand it. It's almost as if he's like, hey, I didn't want this thing. I can't even believe it. It's getting too close. I'm going to start saying some things to really put an end to this.
Well, I think it's becoming the questions become more specific. You know, Chris Matthews was not going to let that question about the abortion, and I do think that's the big one. I think that's the big one. He can say the nukes. You know, I bet you if you did a poll on the street, a lot of people, if you said to them, Donald Trump wants the Supreme Court to investigate whoever, they'd go, well, they should. They probably don't know. The abortion issue is a major issue.
I don't think any of his supporters have backtracked on their support for Donald Trump because of the past couple of days. And I know you think that that's wrong, but I think that his supporters are saying, you know what, he's tired. This is the campaign. We really don't expect him to try to do that once he gets into office.
Oh, you may be right. However, why are the numbers? Why is Ted Cruz's gap? Why is the gap widening? Because there are still people that are undecided. There are a lot of people that are still undecided, and that's the part that is the factor here, I think. And I'll tell you that these are people that you hear when you say, so who are you going to vote for? Like even our intern said, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't like any of them, but I guess, you know, he said if I'm going to vote, which we pounced on him over that. Listen, you have to vote. But if I'm going to vote, I guess I probably would vote for Trump. That is a big population. And that's the population that moves here, which makes all the difference in the world. Because, you know, when these primaries hit, our intern Ryan is put in the hot seat. We don't have to worry about this until April 19th. We still have 2 weeks. So when you're put in that hot seat and you're undecided and you're like, I don't know, I guess I'd vote for Trump, those people have already voted for Trump in the primary. So could this move them in another direction? It's going to be interesting.
I have to tell you as well, when it becomes a group discussion, I have myself seen people where there is a Trump supporter or two who is brash and, you know, outspoken. And if you're on the fence, they're like, well, you're going to support this one, and they've ruined this country. So it almost becomes like a submission because I don't want to get into a political argument with you. So, okay, right, I'll probably vote for Trump.
Here's another, you talk about this convention coming up, Republican convention, where it could turn out to be a contested convention. It could be no decision. Nobody knows who's going to go in. And everybody said, well, listen, if Trump is in the lead, even if only by a couple of hundred delegates, and they give it to somebody else, Ted Cruz or anybody else, it'll be, even Trump said, it'll be a riot. Where that would change is Trump has been on the top. But what if the next 10 primaries Trump ends up getting beaten? All of a sudden his popularity begins to decline. I don't think you'll see such a it's all about who has momentum. Just like in a college basketball game, which takes us into the weekend.
Ted Cruz's momentum is losing steam like the air coming out of a basketball.
Ted Cruz?
I think it picks up steam today, tomorrow. That's it.
Oh,
and then
you think? Okay. Wisconsin, he's up in double digits.
Yeah.
And it's growing. Okay. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not sure conservatives would agree with you there. Christine with an update, 620. Good morning. Christine Bellino.